beautiful place. We live in a world filled with light, filled with air, filled with growing things. That could all change in a flash. An eruption of a supervolcano could throw the world into a volcanic winter. When the Yellowstone supervolcano erupts, ash is likely to rise 20 miles into the atmosphere. Life will be wiped out in a 60-mile radius. Ash will cover half of the United States, most of it prime farmland. Food production will be devastated. Sulfur will make the air unbreathable. Humanity will face harsh to impossible living conditions, and possibly extinction. So we must prepare. To ensure the future of humanity, a city must be built beneath the surface of the Earth. The Earth's crust provides shelter from extreme weather and a barrier from toxins. It ranges from 6 to 62 miles deep and averages 24 miles deep, which is ample space for a system of underground units that form a network of environments capable of sustaining the Earth's remaining population. The environments would consist of housing, agriculture, industry, and recreation. Each unit will have its own power generation systems, as well as air filtration to ensure survival in case of tectonic shifts. The environments will be linked by a tunnel system that accommodates maglev tram. Housing structures will be located in the central core unit of the underground environment. Power will be generated by tapping into the massive geothermal resources of the Earth and by harvesting wind energy from the surface. The agricultural unit will use hydroponics and aeroponics, as well as ancient efficiency planting techniques to feed and clothe our inhabitants. Algae production will be used to produce oils, biofuels, and nutrients from our growing systems. Industrial areas will be located in the outer units. To foster emotional well-being, recreational areas will be integrated throughout the entire system. While living underground might be challenging, it is probably the best solution to inevitable supervolcanic eruption. Volcanic eruptions are a natural part of the Earth's geosystem, and some scientists feel we are 40,000 years past due for a supervolcanic eruption. So now is the time to prepare or face death, because it is only a matter of when a supervolcano will occur, not if.
The United Nations International Panel on Climate Change has determined that global warming will significantly raise sea level by the year 2100, putting coastal areas worldwide under the threat of extensive flooding and radically altering existing coastal topography. The most critical element in this process is global warming's melt of polar ice, which in itself could elevate sea level as much as 262 feet, a serious consequence, given that a mere 20-foot rise in sea level would put Florida's coastline completely underwater. More rapid flooding will occur through tropical cyclones like Hurricane Katrina. Such high-power weather systems will continue to be affected by global warming, becoming more intense and more frequent, with higher peak wind speeds and heavier precipitation. But no matter what flood scenario occurs, current levels of flood planning will yield the same result: destruction, devastation, and loss of life and livelihood, creating thousands of refugees who, when faced with losing the very land on which they live, find themselves asking, where do we go from here? While for some, a move inland may seem the obvious choice, an ever-growing population moving into a shrinking landmass could result in widespread slum conditions, bringing with them all the associated problems of such high-density living. The alternative is pre-planning and flood zone reclamation. Hurricane-proof dome-shaped buildings for living and working, mounted on and anchored to pilings driven deep into the ground, and able to float with rising floodwaters, will provide adaptability and safety in the face of changing water levels. Additionally, integrated solar panels can be added to increase each unit's self-sufficiency under adverse weather conditions. The construction of large berms will provide protection for critical land-based systems and additional surface area for above-water structures. Reclamation could involve the establishment of various types of fish farms using native or introduced species and operating in conjunction with kelp cultivation, which acts as a filtering agent for fish farm effluent, as well as providing many different benefits all on its own. Shrimp farming in a number of different configurations is another alternative, along with accompanying mangrove reforestation. The mangroves thrive in shrimp farm effluent, not only filtering the brackish water, but also providing habitat for a variety of fish species, thereby creating a more diverse environment. Large amounts of fresh water for the community can be provided via high-efficiency green technology desalination plants, while waste management can actually lead to energy production, with composting toilets providing the raw material used in anaerobic digestion systems that produce biogas. The result of this new flood plan? Where once there may have been a small coastal fishing community faced with the inevitability of rising sea levels, or struck by the disaster of a sudden flood, there could now be a more vibrant and safe community, with a higher level of self-sufficiency and productivity than was possible before. Global warming will bring extensive flooding, but adopting hurricane and flood-proof building and landscape designs, establishing responsible aquaculture, and implementing green technology water and waste management systems can ensure those coastal areas on the brink of disaster become aquatic areas steeped in prosperity, not only in the present, but for a future yet to come.
Earth. We are now facing a massive increment of population. Where should we go after there is no more space for us? We will seek for a new place to live, a new place to survive. We will seek for the ocean. We will move to the ocean. 71% of total Earth's surface is water. Our plan? Build different ocean living stations with efficient methods to create energy. Ocean thermal energy in our warm weather stations, converting energy arising from the temperature difference between warm surface from the top water of the ocean and cold deep ocean water from the bottom. A massive field of wind turbines and wave energy generators, where the winds and waves are strong. Running out of energy will never be a problem. We have the entire ocean for us, and we plan to use its energy to its fullest. Food is essential. A living farming platform situated inside each central station, and for each different station, different kinds of crops and farming. Our method of living? Different central stations that can host 500,000 people per central station. Transportation to each central station is not a problem. All central stations are connected to one another, and from each central station to its floating entertainment stations and underwater business stations. Our mission? To have an alternate and new way of living, somewhere in the ocean.